Please be advised that everything in my video is purely for entertainment purposes. These are purely my thoughts and opinions and are subjective. I must advise you to please do your own research. All media users found on the public domain and are fair use and fair dealings.
Hello everybody, I'm very sorry. I pick the worst times, don't I, to get unwell. I couldn't really do a lot. I felt absolutely terrible, so I'm really sorry. I'm fine now though. I went out yesterday for a dog walk and I've been out today. I went and visited where Jonathan Creek was filmed, which was quite cool. I didn't know that that was a few villages over from where I live. So, it wasn't an interview. An interview means people fact check, people get asked questions. Certain things that people say in interviews get queried by the actual person giving the interview. It was not. It was a tell-all. It wasn't. It was more of a let's bash the royal family, knowing that the royal family can't do tit for tat. They can't. We're not exactly going to have the Queen and Charles and Catherine sitting there on a Jeremy Kyle couch going, actually, this is wrong. This is wrong. As much as we kind of love that in our heads, it's not the done thing. Now, for a privacy-loving couple that have said that they want to keep so many aspects of their life completely private, they promote themselves as kindness and compassion and, you know, show love for your family and just build a better world. And here they are sitting on Oprah's couch trashing every single thing that they possibly can and throwing at this family who do not, as I said with Meghan, she said her voice was suppressed. She's Ariel out of The Little Mermaid. Don't even get me started on that. Near enough ruined a Disney film for me. If anything, Meghan has been anything but silenced at any point. But the royal family are literally held back. They will not get involved tit for tat. The Queen has come out and said that while some of their recollections may vary, basically, you've just told a bunch of lies, they're going to keep it private and investigate some of the more serious investigations, rightly so. And this is the way we've got to look at it with the royal family. There are roughly 7.7 billion people in the entire planet, right? 50 million people plus a few extras and counting watched Harry and Meghan. So that's still 7.7 billion, because that's how little that number affected the population of the planet that didn't watch Harry and Meghan. So whilst we're all getting caught up in the angry Twitter sphere of this is disgusting, our monarchy's going to fall, no it's not. The Queen, the monarchy, everyone will absolutely survive this. Social media is not real life. Oprah Winfrey's tell-all, let's bash the royal family so they can't defend themselves, is not real life. Watching a couple of spoilt multi-millionaires talking to a billionairess who admittedly does a lot for charity, but still talking about in the middle of a worldwide when hundreds of thousands of people across the world have lost their jobs, lost loved ones. They don't even know if they can put food on the table, talking about how they had a hard time and thank goodness they had each other through these incredibly dark times of Meghan having arguments with her sister-in-law over bridesmaid dresses and tights. Way to keep them down on the same level as us plebs. Now, I'm not covering this in detail by detail, and it's not going to be in any particular context to it. I have watched it. I don't wish to go over it again, and I wasn't going to sit back and rewatch it and pinpoint it all. So those of you that have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who haven't, take my word for it. Now, the first victim that we have seen fall and crumble from this interview has actually been Piers Morgan. Yes, Piers Morgan has been completely vilified and attacked, and there were 40,000 complaints, which is nothing compared to the 300,000 and counting people that actually want Piers Morgan to come back to Good Morning Britain. Piers Morgan actually quit his job because after he said on national TV that he thought that the entire interview was complete poppycock, absolute bunch of lies, does not believe a word of it, it somehow got twisted and turned into that Piers Morgan said what Meghan specifically said about having suicidal thoughts was not true. So therefore he was undermining everybody that suffers from depression in the whole of the UK, or in fact the world. Meghan actually took the time to complain to the CEO of ITV, and on top of that complained to Ofcom. It seems that she will not be happy now until Piers Morgan is outside the palace in stocks with people throwing tomatoes at him. Now, this is the thing that's really bugged a lot of people. Piers did not say anything specific to do with that interview he did not believe. He actually said that he didn't believe any of it, which is what a lot of people felt exactly the same. Now, before I get on to Harry and Meghan, Oprah has done something which is pretty disgusting, and A&L News, Associated News, are actually, I think they're legally threatening them because of what Oprah showed. There were several points where headlines were shown of so-called Our newspaper newspapers putting up really misleading, shocking, racist headlines. And I'd like to take this time to point out that out of the 30 headlines that's shown, I think it was pretty much half of them were not British magazines or newspapers. They were from other countries. So you can't really pile that all onto the United Kingdom for a start. Secondly, a lot of the articles were manipulated. For one, I remember one distinctly, it was to do Meghan's seed will taint the royal family, and it had been cut deliberately to show that headline. In fact, what that headline was actually part of an expose that the Daily Mail had run to call out someone. She was a model, I believe that she was the girlfriend of one of the politicians for one of the parties in the UK that had said that she had racist beliefs. She was called out, she was doxed as it was, she was completely shamed, and she lost her position within the party. So the newspaper was actually calling her out for that. There was another article that was doctored to say that Meghan just doesn't speak our language. What that article was going on to say, and I'd like to point out, this article was written, I think, last year. It was well and truly after Meghan and Harry had already left not just the royal family, but Canada. They were living in LA when this story came out. And it was saying that Meghan does not speak our language. What that means is it's the, you know, what I've often said before, this word salad crap that she comes out with. Very liberal, very champagne socialist, fridge magnet mantras. Now, there was one that was to do with Danny Baker, where he referenced, there was a photograph shown of Archie being depicted as a monkey. This one absolutely flew. People went nuts in the UK. Now, Danny Baker did say that he meant it as, and he didn't actually say, look, this is Archie, ha ha ha, Archie is a monkey. He just said, you know, the new addition to the royal family. He actually meant it as in a performing monkey, a circus monkey, which is what he was implying. That's what our royal family are. They come out, they do their performances. They're basically a circus. But obviously with the links to racism and stuff, Danny Baker got called out. He lost his job instantly, a job that he had held for years and years and years, despite his admittance that maybe it was done in poor taste, but he certainly innocently didn't mean it that way. Whether you believe him or whether you don't believe him, that's your choice. But he was sacked, he was called out across not just one newspaper, all newspapers completely vilified and trashed him. So the UK was very much sticking up for Meghan, as were the newspapers. The last one I can remember offhand was the BBC portrays Meghan Markle as trailer trash. Gosh, have you seen some of our comedy TV shows? Spit and Image. We take the piss out of all of our royal family. We take the piss out of absolutely everyone. It is British humour. And I'd like to point out that trailer trash is actually an insult that's normally meant for white, poor people. I myself have been called trailer trash because some people in America believe by calling me trailer trash, it is calling me white, low-class, poor person. But you get what I'm saying. That, again, it's all been manipulated and twisted into a really nasty narrative, and Oprah's team, CBS, has manipulated those headlines to paste them all together, including foreign magazines, to make it look like that all of these things that were said. Oprah was not interviewing. She used leading questions to get onto the next topic or to dramatise it. So we had a lot of pauses with Meghan going, it's the truth. So let's now get on to my breakdown. I've grouped stuff together. As I said, I'm not going over it bit by bit by bit. It would be boring for you. It's boring for me and my blood pressure. As you will see, I am beginning to get redder and redder, and I'm getting a little rash here. It's because I feel very passionate about our royal family, and I was definitely very upset that as what has come out from this royal family bashing interview. Plus, I've seen so many people getting attacked in the media over this. It has caused division, it has caused a lot more race baiting, and it has caused a lot more racial tension in the UK. Now, I have to be careful on this one because this is to do with mental health. I am not undermining anything that Meghan Markle said. If she felt that way, you don't know what people feel behind closed doors. You don't know, as I can speak for myself here, I have had very, very dark days in the past. I have suffered from depression. I still suffer from anxiety. I have had very, very dark thoughts and very down days. Have I still had to go to work? Have I still had to put a brave face on and a stiff upper lip, as we say? Yes, I have. So we can't judge Meghan on a few pictures of her seen out and about on the night that she was apparently suicidal, or going out for lunch with her PR agency like the next day or the day after. We cannot judge and say that that's not how she was feeling inside. But playing devil's advocate here, the bits that really concern me about this. Meghan refused royal doctors for her pregnancy. She actually openly said that she did not want men in suits delivering her baby. She picked her own private team. Where were this team? Where were the midwives? Midwives are trained to not just look after the mother while she's giving birth, but to check her throughout her entire pregnancy. They are trained to look for signs of emotional stress, if they may be suffering for any of the warning signs of depression. It is a huge thing that affects many, many women trying to get pregnant, throughout the pregnancy, after the birth. So where were all of her team? Why was Meghan not speaking to anyone? Was she held under lock and key this entire time? Meghan supposedly has a close relationship with her mother. Her mother often came and stayed with her, so we heard in the reports. Why was she not speaking to her mother, a trained social worker, also trained in mental health? Meghan saw Jessica on several occasions. She flew out to Canada, and also Jessica came and stayed in the UK, as did Daniel Martin. This is the weekend. Daniel Martin, the avocado toast, was the weekend of that same week that Meghan said that she felt suicidal and she was begging the palace for help. I don't understand why she had all these friends and people coming from America and Canada seeing her, but she couldn't talk to anyone, and now she's angry that the palace didn't do anything to help her. I'm sorry, but unless you reach out and ask for help, which is now what she's saying she did do, but no help was given. Now, my biggest issue with this is Harry. And I don't understand why people are not having a go at Harry for this. It seems that Harry did not prepare Meghan for royal life at all. He did not even tell Meghan that she would have to curtsy in front of the Queen. Yes, this is stuff that came up. Meghan didn't realise that she'd have to curtsy for the Queen. Really? Meghan didn't Google anything to do with the royal family until she joined it and became a full-time working royal. She had to stay up late at night and to Google the national anthem. This is a woman that has a degree in international studies. This is a woman that lived in Canada for a number of years, where the Queen, as far as I'm aware, is actually on their banknotes out there. It's a Commonwealth country. So for Meghan to be saying that she had no idea about all of this, it makes you think, well, did Harry just completely lie to her? Also, with the mental health aspect, what husband, what boyfriend or wife or partner, what person do you have in your life when you are pregnant with their child, when you tell them that I am scared to be on my own because I'm going to kill myself, says, stick your lippy on, love, we're going out for a night out, let's go see Cirque du Soleil. Put on your best dress, let's go out and sparkle the night away. Oh, don't worry about going for help, you know. Even though Harry himself has had therapy, Prince Charles has had therapy, Kate Middleton supported her brother and her uncle through therapy. Princess Margaret famously had therapy, or rehab, whichever way you look at it. Harry has had rehab and therapy. So for them to say that the royal family would be ashamed, even if this, just say, devil's advocate here, say that it's true. Meghan went to the HR department, which is kind of weird because they just look after royal staff. But Meghan didn't tell anyone, any of her friends, anyone that could actually, you know, say, help or advise her, but she did go to the HR department, who told her it won't look good. Never mind the fact that half the royal family has already openly been in therapy. Harry himself part of Heads Together with Catherine, plus supporting all of the people, like the military mental health. He was supposed to be working on a programme with Oprah, but his wife tells him that she's going to kill herself and their unborn child, and he goes, oh, don't worry about it, let's go to Cirque du Soleil. Harry actually said in the interview that he was ashamed and embarrassed. What sort of man are you? What sort of husband is that he was too ashamed that his suicidal wife and they didn't seek help together as a couple? But here they are, what, a year and a bit later, after Harry saved her life by moving to LA, but never mind the fact that they said they were moving to Canada first, stating that the royal family refused to help them. But the weirdest thing is, 2 days later, we've had Owen Scobie and Janina are saying that she's got receipts. She's kept emails to prove that the royal family knew. But Harry just said on Oprah that no one knew because they were too ashamed to tell anyone. But she's got all these emails proving that she reached out for help and people didn't help her. But when Meghan recently had her court case, she told Justice Warby that the reason why she didn't have any emails or proof for her privacy case and text messages is because for security reasons, it's actually deleted after 30 days. But she managed to compile all of these emails from, you know, a year, well, actually, what, over 2 years ago. And she kept them just to save them, just for a rainy day. And she's shown her friends them. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't add up. But Oprah at this point, why are you not asking Harry? Harry, why did you not actually get help for your wife? Harry, did you not think, you know, this could be a serious thing? Like your mother, which you often talk about, who actually, Diana threw herself down the stairs when pregnant with William. Why didn't Harry get her help? But no, they're fine. You know, thank God they have each other. Your husband apparently didn't help you while you were suicidal, but you're now angry at the whole royal family because they didn't get you help or they refused to. Oh, no, wait, Harry said that he didn't tell them because he was too embarrassed. Let's refer back to Oprah. What? What? Now, on Charles, cutting them off financially. Why is this not being picked up on? Harry, 36 years old, declared with Meghan that they wanted financial independence. So now they're moaning that they got cut off by the royal family. And Harry, bless him, God, I bet we can all feel for him on this one. They only had the 15+ million pounds that were left to him by the Queen Mother and Diana to fall back on. Oh, how my heart is breaking for them. How could they survive on a mere 15 to 20 million pounds? How shocking. This is where I don't understand why so many people in America are going, oh, those poor dears, what they went through. Absolutely horrific. How appalling. Now, Charles's aides and various friends have spoken to newspapers and said it's actually that's a lie. Charles massively supported them, and it was reported in the newspapers last year that Charles was given, I think, up to 2 million out of the duchy for their first year to help them get along. So not only has Harry fallen back on the mere 15 to 20 million he had in the bank, Meghan, you know, her supposed 5 million, plus everything else that they've earned, plus all of the deals that they've also managed to secure, plus Charles's money. But Harry, 36-year-old man, is angry that his family financially cut them off. Let me get my violin. Now, let's get on to Catherine. Poor Catherine, and I will say poor Catherine at this point. Catherine, since this interview, or tell-all, has been aired, has had to have extra security because she has been chased doing the school runs by paparazzi. Well done, Harry. They've had to increase security because they've been receiving death threats, and William and Catherine have been trying to do actual normal royal visits whilst people were screaming, Catherine, did you make Meghan cry? William, is your family racist? I mean, seriously, plus those reporters doing that need a good slap, but how much pressure has this put on all of their family? Harry and Meghan talk about kindness and compassion. George and Charlotte are at the age where kids talk in school, right? So he's not thought about them by doing this on national TV. Or global TV, whichever way you look at it. So they've thrown Catherine under the bus. Meghan has brought up Catherine, and she brought up Catherine twice in very bitter but conniving, very cunning sort of ways. She said that what Catherine received was just people being mean. All of the years of abuse that Catherine had, being called an Anne Boleyn sister, her mother being called a gold-digging social climber because she was an air stewardess, Catherine wasn't blue enough to be a future queen, William should dump her, and weighty Katie, her family was so desperate, Pippa's now even trying to chat up Harry. All of these things, I mean, Catherine's face plastered on the side of a bus, she was hounded. I mean, she was 17, 18 years old being chased by photographers in the streets. She'd even go for a night out and she had people trying to upskirt her. This is the level of abuse and harassment that Catherine suffered for years. Not just a matter of months. And Meghan's got the damn cheek to turn around and say about, I had it worse than anyone else. But what Catherine suffered wasn't actually as bad as what happened to me because, you know, people were just mean about Catherine. All those people that are complaining about me, I didn't bully them, I've been bullied myself. It's just a smear campaign. Oh, so all the people that are saying that you bullied them, made them cry, everything that Catherine went through, that doesn't matter. They didn't go through anything like what Meghan went through. This is where I'm just like tearing my hair out at this point when she was talking about Catherine. But it's the way she's saying it is such a vindictive undertone going, well, Catherine didn't go through what I went through. You know, I'm definitely the bigger victim. Me. See, maybe I'm being a bit overdramatic now, but I've got to keep myself laughing because, So the other thing, the huge story, which one TV news anchor called Meghan's 9/11. It's not me that said that, don't take offence to it and twist it, but it was Meghan's most huge dramatic thing. What was it over? Bridesmaid dresses, yes. Meghan chose this big tell-all, heartfelt, her truth interview that was heaping piles of dung on the royal family to talk about how Catherine did not in fact cry, Catherine made Meghan cry. What a bitch. And what did she make Meghan cry over? Well, this is where the stories chop and change a bit. When the original story came out, we were told that Meghan was rude to Catherine, that Meghan apparently made Catherine cry, Catherine left. Now, this was confirmed in Omid's Finding Freedom that Meghan helped him write. Admitted in court documents, Meghan was involved in this. So Omid actually said in the book that there was no tears. That was, that wasn't the truth. There were no tears. But Catherine did still try and pave over what had happened, the incident, and very nicely went round the next day to offer Meghan, an apology or an olive branch, and brought around a bunch of flowers. In the book, Omid said that Meghan turned around and said that it wasn't good enough. This has since been backed up by Valentine Lowe, who I told you about in one of my other videos, very serious reporter, who has spoken to people, and presumably aides and people that have witnessed it, that actually said that Meghan did in fact make Catherine cry, but that's neither here nor there. But one thing that is 100% certain is Catherine did go round to try and diffuse the situation. This is her future sister-in-law. Maybe Catherine felt gaslighted and thought maybe I was a bit too emotional and took round a bunch of flowers. Meghan opened the door telling her the flowers were not good enough. Take that scenario, which has since been confirmed. Who do you think is the bigger bitch in this scenario? All of that aside, Meghan is choosing this big, huge tell-all to air her absolute grievances, the things that cut her to the most, where she was emotionally damaged and broken being part of the royal family, and it was to do with an argument that she had with her sister-in-law in the run-up to a wedding. What bride is not stressed in the run-up to their wedding? With her emotional sister-in-law, who's just recently given birth, plus 2 under 5s, who probably wasn't sleeping a lot, over bridesmaid dresses. Yes, bridesmaid dresses, all wearing tights. That's how petty it was, but she felt the need to bring it up, which has then unleashed the attack dogs, Sussex Squad, onto Catherine. All because, no matter the fact that it was a very petty, small argument, the fact is that Catherine has made their queen cry. Dear me, so this is where Catherine is getting death threats. Meghan knows exactly what her fan base would do by bringing up Catherine, but it was such a petty thing to bring up. Catherine doesn't get bullied, I get bullied, but let's just unleash all of my fan base onto Catherine because she made me cry once. Again, what? So another key point that came up. Meghan told Oprah they were married 3 days before the big fanfare £32 million taxpayer-funded wedding, that they wanted the wedding just for them. And the actual real taxpayer-funded, huge, let's clear all the homeless people off the street of Windsor and take away all their belongings, fanfare wedding was for us, plebs of the UK. They wanted their private little wedding just for them. And everything else was for us. Well, thank you. How gracious of them. How kind of them. Never mind all those poor people that they swept off the streets. All of the parties, all of the celebrations, everything that everyone gave to celebrate Meghan, we're now just a bunch of racists, aren't we? So, it turns out Meghan lied. They didn't get married 3 days before because it's illegal in the UK. The Archbishop of Canterbury gave them a blessing and a wedding rehearsal in their back garden. Yes, a wedding rehearsal that Meghan said that they were married in secret. It's illegal. You cannot get married twice, and there is no way that the Archbishop of Canterbury would, in front of the Queen, officiate a second marriage in the huge cathedral, which would be illegal. Again, people, use your brains. It wasn't. So why did Meghan lie that they got married? Maybe she was just romancing it up, trying to make it more of that fairy tale. We just wanted it for ourselves. But by saying that you wanted your private wedding to yourselves, what on earth makes you think that the taxpayers wanted £32 million that could be going towards the NHS to go on your second wedding? Why? No, of course we wouldn't have. We wouldn't have minded. Everyone loved Charles and Camilla's wedding. Princess Anne got married down key for her second wedding. No one would have minded if they'd have had a low-key wedding. But no, they had to match, and they actually spent more money than Catherine and William. So for Meghan to be sitting there saying, we just did it for the plebs, is what I've got to say. No, it's not very mature, but... It's a longer video, this one. I hope you're all keeping up. So let's get on to they took my passport and my keys. Poor Meghan was held captive. There were times when she did not leave the house for 4 months at a time. All been debunked by various newspapers. Not actually true. The one time that she didn't leave the UK for 4 months is because she was attending things like Trooping of the Colour, Archie's birth. There was all these different things that she was doing in the UK. So that's why. But you can't say that she didn't leave the house. And as for her passport being taken, now, my husband doesn't trust me when we go to the airport with my passport. My husband looks after the passports. So you can imagine the security team, actually, you know, the people taking care of them for safety would have Harry's and Meghan's passports in their safekeeping. So Meghan is saying that they took her passport, she was held captive. One, why is there not a police investigation going on now? The way Meghan is selling this story on Oprah and to the American audience, she was held captive. You wouldn't be telling Oprah, you should be telling the courts and the justice system. But no. So, if Meghan's passport was held, all royals have to travel with a passport. And it does not matter if you travel by private jet. I've heard some people say that. It doesn't matter. You still have to go through customs. All right, you probably have a very posh customs where there's no queues and it's all ferried through by your staff, but you still have to go through customs. Meghan and Harry, and these are the ones that I can remember, managed to go to Norway, Amsterdam, Lake Como to stay at George and Amal's place. They went to Mission Nu's wedding in Rome. Meghan went and visited Jessica in Canada several times. They went to Morocco, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Tonga, Fiji. That was all admittedly to do with the royal tours. But they went to Nice and they went to Ibiza for Meghan's birthday. Meghan went through New York City by herself, aside from a few obviously taxpayer-funded security guards. She went to the huge baby shower in New York. She flew back out to New York for the tennis opens to watch Serena play. They partied in Monaco like billionaires. Plus there's obviously a lot of others that we do not know about. Does that sound to me like someone that had their passport taken? As for taking their keys and their driver's license, I have seen every other member of the royal family driving around, so pinch of salt, a lot of salt. So if Meghan was such a captive and they were doing all of this to her, why when Daniel Martin came over and stayed with her? Why when she went and saw Jessica? Why when she went and stayed at Serena's and George and Amal's, she was not pleading for help and for people to save her? Why when Ellen and Hillary Clinton came and visited them at Frogmore Cottage, did Meghan not say, please help me, please take my baby, please rescue us? There was none of that. So you've got to think, why is it all happening now? I'll tell you why. Because they weren't allowed to do what they wanted to do. They weren't allowed to be half in and half out royals, which is what they wanted in the beginning. This is not a couple escaping the confines and the shackles of the monarchy. This is a couple that wanted to stay part of the monarchy, but get paid commercial deals for staying there. Queen said no, so then they moved to Canada. The Queen said no, you definitely can't have taxpayer funded security, which I'm coming to next. So then they moved to LA, and it's only since they've gone to LA and the patronages have been taken and Harry's military appointments have been taken that now there's this nasty vendetta, what the royal family did to them. There was racism, oppression, they were captured, she was held captive, she had everything taken away from her, like she's Nelson Mandela. This woman was not held captive in a palace. But this is the story that they're now doing. As for the security, well, this gets split in between security for Harry and Meghan, and then separately, which I'll get onto, for Archie. Now, Harry and Meghan had their security taken away from them when they said that they were no longer going to be full-time working royals. Now, the reason why this was taken away from them is not out of spite, but if you are not serving the crown, if you are not serving the public of the UK, why are you expecting UK taxpayers to cover your security? Harry and Meghan are multimillionaires in their own rights. They've said so many times themselves. So why on earth did they expect us to cover them? Even Canada kicked up and said that they're not going to pay £1 million or $1 million a year to cover them. Why should taxpayers fund non-working royals? No other non-working royals have taxpayer funded security. So this is going to bring me around to my final one, talking about Archie. Now this is going to be a red flag for everyone, isn't it? This is the big, huge no-no. And this is the thing, why does everyone suddenly believe that this actually is a true story? And Harry said a different story, I'd like to point out, which Oprah did not pick up on. I wonder why. Meghan said that there were multiple conversations with various people while she was pregnant about how dark her baby's skin would be. This was when Oprah went, what? Yes, multiple conversations. But then Meghan changes it to not with her, with Harry. So she got told secondhand by Harry, presumably, that this conversations happened. There were concerns. Harry said there was one conversation at the beginning of their relationship before they were even married. Why was this not picked up on? Why has this not since been questioned? So what was it? One question when they started dating? Or multiple conversations throughout Meghan's pregnancy? Which is a normal question, especially even when pregnant. Take me, for example. I've got dark brown hair and I've got hazel green eyes. My husband looks like a Viking, right? He gets white ice blonde hair, ice blonde eyebrows and pale skin. He does not tan. He does not tan to the point that when we walked around Vietnam, he had people coming up wanting to take, local Vietnamese people wanted to take his picture because he was so pale. I kid you not. True story. Happened twice. So if P and I were having a baby, people would be like, oh, is she or he going to come out with dark hair or going to get the blonde hair? And it's the same with mixed race couples. Of course, it's a natural thing. It's a natural thing even with my husband. I'd even comment, go, oh God, I hope the baby doesn't get your complexion. You know, it's a normal conversation which has been weaponised. It has been weaponised, manipulated by Oprah, manipulated by Meghan to be used, which is a huge thing in America at the moment, racial tensions. So, of course, the biggest thing that came out of this interview was someone dared ask or showed concerns about how brown Meghan's baby would be. Well, you might as well have had people out with pitchforks coming for the monarchy at that point. People didn't even need to listen to the rest of the interview. They were sold, this poor Meghan, at the evil hands of the British public because we're all racist and horrible people. And you're just like, oh my God. Oh my gosh. Right, so Meghan said not only were there concerns, and Harry said one conversation when they first started dating compared to multiple concerns. Someone's telling porkies. But Meghan said that because of this, because of Archie being mixed raced, he is not entitled to become a prince. Oh, wow. Talk about put the axe down on the royal family. Because the Americans and lots of other people around the world don't understand why is he not a prince? Why is Charlotte, Louis and George prince and princesses? They've completely just singled out Harry's wife because she's biracial. No. No, they haven't. No, they haven't. The great-grandchildren of the monarch are not entitled unless they are direct heirs, which would make Prince George, because Prince George is going to be the king one day. But Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis would not have had prince and princely titles. So the Queen intervened and she changed the letters painted. Now, the original letters were changed in 1917. George V said about the great-grandchildren of the monarch are not entitled unless heirs to the throne. So Harry should have known this, yet he's not told his wife. But Meghan said it's because Archie's mixed race. Can you see what I'm saying here? She's manipulated and lied. This is an actual lie. It is not true. Archie is not a prince because he is the great-grandchild of a monarch. Now, when the Queen passes and Archie then becomes the grandchild of the monarch, i.e. Charles, he would have automatically become a prince. The Queen changed Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis to be a prince and princess because when William takes the throne, they will be direct sons and daughters of the monarch. So that's why she did that for them. So they are direct heirs to the throne. Archie is not. Harry is not. But the point is that they would have been told this. They would have inquired this long ago and Harry would know that Archie would not be a prince. Now, the weirdest thing here is Harry has said many a time that he did not want his son to be a prince. He wanted his children to basically to grow up without being confined to being a prince. Prince Harry openly said that he was at his happiest when he was Captain Wales in the army. In the interview, Harry and Meghan also went on to say that they're now very concerned that Charles, when he does take the throne, is still not going to make Archie a prince because he wants to shrink down the monarchy. I have to say here, and anyone can Google it, Charles has been talking about slimming down the monarchy for a very, very long time. Anyone can look it up on the internet. Charles has actually been saying this way long before Harry was even dating Meghan. So for them to turn around and say it's because the fact that Meghan's biracial, it's because of Archie being mixed race, is absolute bull. Now, the other thing here which really irritates me is Meghan and Harry are always talking about social inequality, social injustices. You know, they don't want to be treated differently, but please call us the Duke and Duchess. In America, where titles, this is the thing, where titles are royal family. You guys fought a war, you do not have a royal family. With this whole racism narrative that Meghan and Oprah are definitely pushing, And they're saying, oh my God, Archie's not a prince. Why are they suddenly so concerned that they want their son, who they're bringing up as an American citizen, to be defined by his rank in life? So people in America that go to school with Archie, he's going to be prince. He's going to be a prince. And that is where it absolutely baffles my brain. I hope I'm making sense, because my brain is absolutely scrambled at this point. But can you get what I'm saying? This is a couple that talk about equality. They don't agree with white privilege. Harry is the poster child for white privilege. And as for Meghan, the absolute irony here, this is a woman that is calling herself a duchess in America, where titles should not be a thing. A title that has been given to her by a white privileged family from the United Kingdom, who is now demanding that her son, and showing her concerns that her son is not going to also get a title from that very white racist institute. What? Nothing they've said matches, nothing adds up. How on earth can you have Meghan saying that everything that the monarchy did to her, they refused to let her help, they wanted her to obviously hurt herself and her unborn child, that they're trapped, that Harry has now discovered that he's not trapped, he's got the freedom, they're living their best lives, but here they are on national TV, and when you boil it down, complaining that she had a falling out with her sister-in-law over bridesmaid dresses, complaining at 36-year-old that daddy cut off his finances, complaining that their child doesn't have a title from the very nasty institute that they have just managed to find freedom from, and the fact that they are now living in LA, living their best life with the very few millions that they've managed to secure for themselves, but they are still hard done by, and they have struggled. They have struggled so badly in a worldwide bug where everyone's mental health has dramatically been in decline, but they're sitting there, and people have even started a GoFundMe page to help pay for their mortgage. Yes, that's how crazy the world is turning. I kid you not. Anyway, I feel like I've ranted enough now. I've got nice and red. I need some water, and I will be back with you guys very soon. So take care for now. Bye.
If you like my video, please remember to like and subscribe. Please, angry typists, you will be blocked, so save your fingers the time. If you would like to buy me a coffee, please go to my About page and click the link. Love, Taz.